Mm-hmm.
Okay,
Yes. Okay, cool. Hey everyone, Sycra here, and today I am joined by some really special guests, like Jazza from Draw with Jazza, Jet from the Jetty Jet Show, and Paris Christou from Toonbox Studios. That's their moves. That's what they can do.
I wish I knew we were pulling out the moves, because mine sucked.
You want to try again?
No, it's okay. I've had my chance. I failed. It's all good.
So I'm joined with these cool guys, and I'm going to be asking them questions. But we're going to be focusing on Jazza a little bit more in the beginning because he's got some people over, and they're all building.
Sorry,
stuff.
guys.
Yeah.
Just terribly in demand.
He's
Maybe 15 minutes, they'll be nice. So.
Yeah.
It'll be part of the show. It's fun.
So, I'm also going to be taking questions from the chat. So, if you guys have any questions, please post them in the chat, and I will get to that. But first, I think we've seen Jet quite a bit on streams. If you've been on streams before, you know this guy. So, I'm gonna not.
Don't worry about me. Don't talk.
Jet,
I'm gonna start.
I didn't want to introduce these other two guys because they haven't been on much. So, or maybe you can introduce yourself. So, Jazza, why don't you introduce yourself?
G'day, ladies and gentlemen. My name's Jazza. I'm from Australia, and I specialise in animation, character animation. But I have a channel where I teach people how to animate and draw and paint in Photoshop and do random videos from time to time as well. That's basically it.
Cool. And Paris?
Hey there guys, I'm Paris Christou from ToonboxStudio.com, and I'm a cartoonist and teacher, and my channel is Toonbox Studio.
You're a bit quiet. Paris.
You can't hear me?
You're a little bit quiet.
We're also getting feedback. Somebody has from their speaker. Is that you, Sycra?
That's me. Oh.
That's you.
Headphones.
Your hair's looking so good today. You don't want to mess it up, right?
Can you guys hear me?
We can hear you guys.
Yeah. All right. There we go. Now.
Very nice.
Yeah. So Toonbox Studios. And
Studios. Everyone does that. Everyone does studios.
There's only one of them.
There's only one. Just remember that. There's only one. That's the memory trick.
Is that a constant reminder, Paris, of the name you should have picked?
What to do?
And what do you do at Toonbox Studio?
I designed a character called Cherry. She's a pin-up character who I showcase every week to my followers and how I draw and color her. And our goal is to get her as popular as possible so that we can one day create a Cherry animated series. So yeah.
Wow. And
coming soon.
You know what's a really cool coincidence?
What's that?
Your character's name is Cherry and her hair is red.
Yeah. Well, what happened was 3 years ago, her hair was actually a cherry dark color. And then slowly, towards this bubblegum pink through time. I don't know how, don't ask me how, I just liked it and just kept it. That's what happened. But she did have really dark cherry head color back in 3 years ago.
Cool. It's character evolution. This is what happens.
Yeah.
It happens.
Create a character.
Who would have known that, it would have picked up?
Yeah. It's a cool character. And do the little critters, because you have like animal friends of hers as well, right?
Yeah. Well,
do they have names?
I always enjoyed drawing cartoon animals. That was my thing ever since I was a kid. It was like any Looney Tune, I used to draw them. I used to draw any Disney animal character and stuff. So I used to love drawing cartoon animals. And then when I decided to do Cherry to kick off the channel, I just found an excuse to throw in the animals and then just gel them in together. Kind of like Winnie the Pooh and Christopher Robin. kind of thing.
You have so much personality, and you nail it. Because I've always been addicted to that Disney style, and I was really drawn to your channel and your character because you really get that soul into it. It's great.
Oh, thanks, man. That means a lot.
Yeah. Speaking of you, Jazza, man, when I was looking at Jazza's stuff, this is to the audience. I was like, oh, cool. He does these flash animations things. That's nice. Then I found out you're a voice actor. You play like every instrument in a... Oh. It's begun. It's begun.
That's what's happening.
For those of you that don't know, Jazza having this air conditioning placed into his studio that just this massive hole in the wall.
His wife's on her
videos.
You can mute it. So like when you're answering, you can unmute it. How about that? There's a little mute button right there. You see it? You did it. You did that. You got it.
He muted himself.
So yeah.
So as I was saying, so Jazza does voice acting. He does every instrument in the orchestra. He does real acting. He's like, what else does he do?
He's gonna be on the Eurovision Song Contest next year.
Yeah.
It's gonna be
fun. I heard he built the car he drives.
I didn't know that.
Out of wood too, and it was.
he's a stunt double.
He is a stunt double, but my point is, like, okay, so some of that is nonsense, but most of it is real. Like,
Most of it.
He's a super crazy talented guy, and I was thinking, like, how do you do that? Like, how many lifetimes do you have?
He plays music too, like 2-3 instruments, I think. Is that right? He's got his drum kit.
Yeah.
There you go.
So how do you?
Oh, you gotta unmute first.
How do you
Walking around? The voice acting. Sorry.
All right.
I get gaps. It's all good. The voice acting thing was basically out of necessity because I was animating and I hired people.
It's part of the show, man. It's fine. Go with it.
I did make sure there was a training video.
It's cool. We're just chilling, you guys. We're just chilling. We'll do this again soon.
Sign language. Does anyone know sign language?
I mean, if Jazza starts just moving his mouth, I can fill in what he says.
Go on, I think let's do this.
Good day, everybody. Good day, mate. I'm really good at doing things, and the reason is because I made a deal with the devil, and he said, "Well, I'm going to take your soul, and I'm going to let you do all these cool things." And then I said, "All right," but then
let's not even move it.
when he turned around,
from the 18th century.
It's a kung fu movie all of a sudden.
Like a Barbie.
Whoa. All right, that's all for Jazza now.
I'm so sorry.
You know what you could do though? This is something that is a legitimate smart idea. Copyright Sycra 2014. You could type your answers and in the chat bar.
Wait. You can also turn your input down really super low. You know how to turn your input down? You're receiving input. So basically it becomes super difficult to get sound through the microphone unless you're like super close. You ever done
wouldn't hear? Oh.
Huh?
Oh. I don't think that's an option, Jet. I don't think that's gonna work. But yeah, you could type your answers, and then someone could read them, and that would be cool. Like, because there's a group chat thing. I don't know if you see it, but if you press the blue Same. There's. Yeah.
Yeah, there's a little. It's a little blue. Yep. There you go.
There you go.
Corner, left side.
It's just an option, though. It's just an option.
It's up to you.
Okay. Okay. Hey, Will, you wanna hop on? Will?
Is there a chat room? Or are you looking at like a chat room or something?
There's a little blue box with kind of like a speech bubble thing on the left side. Just move your mouse over it. It should come out. It's supposed to pop out. So if you're looking, do you see it?
There's a little smiley face. Is that it?
No. Here, let me just share my screen. See if you can see my screen. I'll share it for you, and then you can just follow along. Uh-oh, it's gonna mirror itself quite a bit though.
Oh, look, there's a chat. Oh, okay, cool.
Oh yeah, you got it.
But I don't have that. Why don't I have that?
You got it. It's probably hidden, so you gotta move your mouse kind of slightly to the left.
Oh, to the left.
Yeah. Right here.
Chat. Nope, that's it.
Okay, let me show you.
Screen share. Got capture control room.
Yep. It should be above the screen share. Right here. It'll go away if you're not over.
Anyway, it's okay. You guys do the chatting for me.
All right. So we had a couple questions, and I lost them. So that's cool.
Good.
Someone was asking if, I guess it's a question for all of us, if we also do traditional, like, watercolors or any kind of traditional media as well as digital media, because I guess they all know we work digitally. Jazza works in, I guess, Flash, and gonna be Toon Boom soon, so that's cool. And
That sound again.
and Photoshop, and yeah, it's like Cthulhu appears every time he unmutes himself. Just
With bubble sounds.
and then Jet's all about that manga studio.
Yeah.
Jet, yeah, and
I did the manga studio.
and Paris is Sketchbook Pro, right?
For illustration, yeah.
What,
I use Flipbook, Toon Boom, and traditional pencil and paper.
Why would anyone who has, like, this is not a criticism, it's just a question. Why would anyone who has Toon Boom use anything else?
Well, for example, Flipbook is very close to the traditional way. It feels like a pencil, it looks like a pencil, and you control it like a pencil as well. Just like Sketchbook Pro, the pencil tool. You know, you've got the different types of press sensitivity when you go in and sketch and stuff. Toon Boom is like Flash, it's vector-based, so it doesn't have the same, it's different qualities, just totally different qualities. So it depends on what type of outcome you're going to go for.
Great, now my phone's gone.
Oh, we can hear you though.
Yeah, I've got a break. The Toon Boom is crazy. I've been using Flash for 10 years, and I started Toon Boom for the first time like a week ago. I've only used it for like 2 hours. Sorry. And it has made me realize that I'm going to have to spend a lot of time getting to know the software. Because when you learn the software, you have to learn all the intricacies and all the things that, you know, that take little bits here and there over the years, you know. So I'm going to have to really crunch down to try and learn it. But it looks really cool.
It's got a completely different interface because everything is built on this web model of things.
I've never tried it.
You have nodes. It's cool though.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah, it's got a theme song too.
So do you? So go back to the question. That's the software we use, but do you use traditional at all? Ever?
Who, me or Jazz?
We'll start with Jazza and then we'll go down the line.
No.
No? Oh, okay.
I'm not good enough to use traditional. I'm very much a fan of the shortcuts. But look, I mean, I've done the amount of traditional most online animators have done. You know, flip books in high school, and drawing on paper and taking a photo and doing another piece of paper and all that. But ever since I discovered digital animation, I've just been there ever since.
Okay. So you're purely digital.
Yeah.
Good. Okay. And you, Jet, do you draw traditionally?
Yeah, I do.
You do?
Well, no, not anymore. But I've done it. I can do it. It's not what I use. You know what I mean? Like painted oil, watercolor, acrylic, everything.
There goes the fishbowl again.
Everything that the art school made me do. So it's a good experience. That was one of the good things. If I didn't go to art school, I don't know if I would have been pushed to do it for myself. So.
And you, Mr. Paris?
What's that?
Do you use traditional at all?
Yeah, of course. I use traditional. I use Toon Boom and Digicel Flipbook. So it depends on the project. I try and if it's like a personal project, I'll use traditional. Yeah. If the client asks for it, then I'll go for that. Because the quality of the animation is higher through the traditional because you've got more control.
Yeah.
And but it's a lot time consuming and expensive. So they usually ask for Toon Boom or Flash and stuff like that. But any opportunity I get, I do use it. Mostly for my own personal projects.
Okay.
Can you hear me, by the way?
Yeah, man.
It's clear.
Yeah. It's clear.
So these are like $5 earphones and microphone. I ain't got no high-tech gaming earphones and stuff. So, pardon me if you can't hear me properly.
And that's good for $5. It's very good. Yeah. Okay. So someone's asking, what would you recommend to someone who is aspiring to get into animation school? Did you go to any? Yeah, did you go to school in Paris for animation?
Yeah. I went to Central St. Martin's. It's a college just for art and design. It has like any subject to do with art in there. It's like the elite one in the whole UK. And we had brilliant teachers that were Disney animators and stuff, and we learned a lot from them. And I also had Don Bluth as a mentor. I don't know if you guys know who Don Bluth is. Who's done Anastasia and Five-O Goes West, American Tail and stuff like that. Thumbelina.
Five-O. Love him.
So, I've had a lot of training from all the gurus and stuff, so it was a lot of fun. But this was when 2D animation was at its peak as well. So now it's like drifting towards 3D animation. So if any newcomers want to get involved in animation, if you're not going to be independent and try and do something by yourself, then I would advise you to try and study 3D animation because that's the in thing right now.
Yeah.
That's the in thing right now. All the top animation studios have stopped making any 2D animation productions, especially in the USA. Europe is actually quite popular still, but I'm not sure how long it's going to go for.
Do you know where it is popular though? I thought to myself this the other day is in game design. There's always new 2D stuff, and you look at studios like Behemoth and like the people that made Shank and that Ninja one and stuff. Like there's some stylistic stuff you can do, especially for game design, that you can't do in 3D. But there's also the opposite. There is stuff you can do in 3D that you can't do in 2D. So the animation thing's interesting because for film, you're right, 3D is really taking over. But I don't know, you can't get rid of it, can you? Because there's something charming about it.
Right now is to all the new lots is to try and keep the 2D spark alive, and it all comes down to that, really, isn't it? So if you guys want to keep it alive, get involved and just turn YouTube into a 2D animation platform. So.
I think the alternative media, our YouTube and stuff, is allowing us to bring back 2D animation. It was drifting, and now it's in 3D, but now I feel like it's become like we've got a platform to bring 2D back, and that's what everyone can do on their own. So if anybody wants to do it, it would be more of a personal thing, and if you want to make it, you just got to work hard like Jazza, Sycra.
Yeah.
So the question actually was, this person, Lisbeth, wanted to study animation visual effects, but they're afraid they're lacking skills. What level do you need to apply to university and get accepted? When I went to animation school, it was this thing where I got a scholarship and everything, and I thought, wow, cool. And then I realized, I don't mean to sound rude, but everyone there who asked for a scholarship got a scholarship. Like,
Really?
they did not care about quality. It was really, if you can pay, if you can afford to get in the school, you're in. And so that was, so for me, the level was not an issue, because there were people who couldn't draw at all.
Yeah.
And are you going to be drawing, Jet?
Yeah, I will be. But I have to add, like, when I went to art school, I remember being so hesitant because I was worried about the same thing. I was like, everyone's gonna be better than me. Like, I was just so scared. Like, I'm not good enough for art school. You know, when I got there, I was like, some people's net, like, it looked like they'd never drawn in their life, or they're just fans of drawing. Like, they're just fanboys of giant robots. I just also gotta mention, it was so nice to hear Jazz's voice, and it's just like breath of fresh air. I was like, his voice.
Yeah. Christian Illis says, I'm Hungarian. Oh man, well go eat, dude.
Classic.
Jazzy,
a lot.
It's just like start talking. It stops, you unpause, you just start talking. Just like, blah, blah, blah.
There's a lot of fans of Toonbox Studio here. A lot.
Really?
Yeah, I got people telling me to shut up because I said stuff about why is Cherry's hair red or whatever. Come on, guys.
Yeah, you did it.
Stop being mean.
Okay. How long, Lucky asks, how long does it take to get paid for your artwork? How long does it take to make a living out of your artwork?
Ooh. Do you guys still freelance? First off, like, let's get that out of the way. You guys still freelance, right? I know you mentioned you had a studio Paris, right?
Who it's went to? Who's answering the question? Me?
You are Paris.
Okay, what's the question? Repeat that again. Sorry about that.
How fast do you get paid? And right, is that pretty much the question?
I get.
No, the question: how long does it take before you get paid? Before you become a professional, I suppose.
Well, a professional just means someone who's getting paid to do something, right? So.
Right.
Yeah, I agree.
No matter what the level of the skills are, so
Right.
it all comes down to how well established you are and how much trust that your clients have with you. So that if you take on a job, no matter how big or small, you take, let's say, 50% of a deposit up front, you know you got your money straight away, first of all. You're not going to go diving into some deep end to try and do a project for someone. And it's just an illustration. For me, it takes me roughly about 2 weeks to do, let's say, for example, a pin-up commission. And that's because I've got so many other projects in the way, and I can't do it non-stop. So I have to do 15 minutes here, take a break, do something else, and then come back again later on. And 2 weeks later, it gets finished. So maximum. And that's when I get paid complete at the end of that. Animation projects is a different scenario because it's more expensive rather than just an illustration. And we also have like outsourcing people that help out with all the projects as well. So it's a huge deal to get at least 70% of the pay up front, and they do it, and they always deliver at the end as well. So I pick my customers though. That's the thing. I wouldn't go and pick anyone. I need to know who they are, their backgrounds, their history. Are they legit? Are they do they keep up and stuff? If I'm gonna go for anyone, then you can get screwed. So but you got to be careful who you pick. You got to be careful.
Yes. I think any professional artist has had experience with getting screwed over.
You gotta get burned a couple times to really know.
And then you start to really appreciate when there is a client who actually pays on time, and it's just like, wow.
Do you get the question like, how much do you charge and stuff like that? And I always get that. How much should I charge my customers and stuff? I always get that all the time. And I just reply back to them. I don't know if you guys reply the same thing. Reply what you want.
I usually ask, what's your budget? And then they never answer. Because I was told to do this. I was told to say, what's your budget?
Screw that.
They never say what their budget is. So then they just ask, well, what's your rate? And I have an hourly rate, and I have a day rate, and I have a project rate. So Right now I'm mostly doing day rates because it's just like this, or hourly rates, sorry. And then it's like, this is how much I get done in an hour, and if you're happy, we can keep going on. And it's usually for the more tentative clients where it's like, well, I'm not sure if you're the right fit. It's like, okay, well, just pay for an hour and see if you like this, and see if this is up to the level you're looking for. But I don't know.
You know how I do it. I just always give them options, just to see where they're working with, like, and if you can do like 3 different levels of detail for them, then I think that gives them options. So if they can't afford your best bid, then they can afford something a little more like simpler in design and just fits their budget.
Yeah, for sure. Whenever I do an animatic for a client, when they want an animation, I do their animatic, which is a really simple overview, and then I always give them a quote in segments, like in options. So this is how much this scene would cost if you want it on the cheap. This is how much the scene would cost.
That's how much it would cost on the We got you, man.
Jazza, you're the guy who has that, like, it's an automated process, right? On your website, you can click the different options and...
What's this for?
You have a website where you can, like, customize the...
Yeah, the freelance.
That was a great little resource for people who's looking into freelancing. I thought that was really cool.
I really like that idea of giving them options. So...
Another thing that would be cool for you guys to know, I also value as well my specific time when I'm taking a project. For example, if I've got bills to pay, for example, and I'm desperate for cash, then I will actually seriously think about the value of my time at that specific moment to do whatever type of project. So if I'm at a point in time where I don't need a lot of money, for example, I've paid all my bills and I've got my pocket money now, I can go out on my weekends and stuff, I'm fine, okay? So you can charge whatever you want after that. But if you're desperate for money, let's say you've got like a car bill to pay and it's coming around the corner and you've got your phone bill and everything, and you're thinking, damn, where am I going to get the money from? Some jobs that you might even hate, you can charge less just so you can get it, and just to pay the bills. So I measure a lot of my life circumstances, what position I am at this present moment. Am I desperate for the money right now? Should I drop it down, take the job, and then pay some cash off and hate the job as well? Or do I really like the job, lower the cash down again because it's a cool job, it'll do good on my resume? And then you've got the other things like, how much do you hate this job? Do you really want to take it? Let's charge them 3 times the money so that it can go away.
And then sometimes they take it. It's great.
They take it. That's right. Yeah. I don't want to tell you how much. That was crazy. I gave them a price that I never thought anyone would accept, and they accepted. I was like, wow.
That's what happened to me a couple of times. Like, yes, you'd be surprised. So don't undervalue yourself. You know what I mean? Overvalue yourself, and then if they don't want it, then give them a smaller price. Adjust. Adjust.
I do that for jobs I don't want. I always...
Are you not kidding me, right?
And then they're like, oh, do it anyway. No. Raphael Angelo asks, what do you guys think about hyperrealism? Hyperrealism.
That's Costa right there.
Can't do it, but it's fun to look at.
It's a pain in the butt. It's cool. I think it requires a lot of discipline. Like, you think of like Chuck Close, right, when you think of hyperrealism. But now he's taking it on with more surreal kind of, or impressionistic type of realism. Chuck Close, if you guys don't know hyperrealism, check him out. He's amazing.
I can't believe to say this, but I don't know who this guy is. So I'm checking him out right now.
Oh my goodness, he does like these gigantic murals of his self-portraits. He's like
I'm
a
really
legend.
bad, man. So it's I don't really follow many art stuff, I don't really.
What is his name, Jet?
Chuck Close.
Chuck Close.
Yeah, he's like a traditional fine arts artist. I mean,
Is that the name of the channel?
He has a channel? No, he's not a YouTuber.
Oh, what is he?
He's
like
basically he's like a living a living Rembrandt or Monet or Vermeer kind of guy. Like he is gonna go down in the books as one of those guys. That's him.
Okay, cool.
Yeah. He's incredible, and the method that he uses, like he paints so huge that when you shrink it down, that's gonna compress all the pixels. So when you're looking at it on like a photo, it looks super like surreal. Like this is just a photo. You know what I mean? But have you heard of him, Sycra?
I think so. I looked at his art and then it's like, oh, I've seen this before.
He also got into I don't know how he got paralyzed, but he's also paralyzed. So now he sits in a chair and he moves like this little controller with the finger, and it paints literally by pixel. So it compiles this gigantic mural over like a year, and they're still amazing.
Wow.
Yeah.
I know Francis Tsai, he had something similar to that.
Yeah.
So La Luna Felin, anyway, Year 12 art asks, Year 12 art made me feel like I lost my passion. It's left me with barely the motive to draw. How can I regain what was lost and get back into it? Who wants to take this one?
Stop being analysed by yourself. I think the biggest problem that people come up with demoralization is just being too hard on yourself and trying to find the things that you can reward yourself with and find the fun.
Right. I think for those people, because we get that kind of question a lot, is you got to sit down and write down why you want to draw. Like that's the first thing you need to. Are you doing it for someone else or are you doing it for yourself? If it's your passion, the moment you draw, you've achieved your goal because you're not doing it for anyone else. You've already received the reward, and you're doing it just because you love it so much. If you're doing it for someone else, it's this empty kind of, you know what I mean? It's like, do you like it? Do you like it? Like you might not get the response you want. They might give you the response you want, but at the end of the day, it's not for you. So figure out where you want to do it for. So,
I think I recently have been dealing with this more where even a year ago, I was finding myself looking at my gallery and seeing nothing that I was really happy with. And I would say that I wasn't happy, but it was always interpreted as a lack of skill, and that's what I thought it was too. I thought, like, I'm not happy with this because I'm not good enough yet. And then I realized, no, I don't like what I'm doing. Like, this is not what I would look at. And it was a case of chasing. I knew I wanted to do art. I knew I liked drawing. I knew I liked painting. But then I would look at guys who were doing concept art or illustration, and I'd think, wow, that's really cool. I guess that's what I need to be doing. I guess those are the skills I need to be having. Whereas when I would think of what I liked, it was manga-type drawings and stylized stuff, and it was very different. I didn't really care for realism. And going back to the hyperrealism thing, I got into hyperrealism and photorealism because I was so impressed by it on a technical level.
Mm-hmm.
And as soon as I was able to do it, I completely lost interest. It's like, I don't care. But now I do stuff I actually like. I do characters, I do the style I like, and people are paying me to do my own style, not this other thing that I can do, and I don't touch realism anymore. I have no interest in it because it's not me. And I think you gotta, for me anyway, the hard thing was being confident enough to be okay with my own taste and not think it was terrible. Like, oh, I kind of want to do this, but no one's going to like that, so let me do this because this is clearly popular. This is what everyone else is doing. Yeah, which sounds terrible as a thing, but yeah.
It's pretty terrible.
I have a question.
Okay.
Am I on? Am I live?
You're good.
You are live.
Yeah. Okay. Because I don't have many like art buddies and stuff. All my friends are like into sports and drinking and girls and stuff like that. None of them are into art. So I just want to ask you guys, since you guys are into art, On YouTube, what type of channels do you guys follow? Do you follow other art channels, or are you like me that completely, versatile?
I both.
I'm pretty guilty. I follow these guys, but yeah. So were you saying something, Jazza? Did you go?
Yeah, I spoke because the opportunity came up.
Speak, dude. Speak. Sorry. Go. You gotta go. You gotta go.
Quick! Pressure. Both. I follow a lot of artistic people who have channels doing similar things to what I do because it's cool to watch and get inspiration from and see what's happening. But then at the same time, I get my entertainment from YouTube. I rarely watch TV. I mainly watch it with my wife. Otherwise, I get my game news from YouTube. I watch channels that make entertainment content, stuff like that. So yeah.
Cool.
Pretty much the same.
Anyone into any cool comedy channels? I love comedy channels. That's my thing.
Just Kidding films.
What ones do you like?
Have you guys ever heard of Mr. Technical Difficult?
No.
Are you guys serious? No, okay. You guys
I'm
gotta search that.
I'm looking him up now.
I'm sure the guys watching this video right now know what I'm talking about. He's some funny dude that does like these gaming. He videos himself doing like these little games and stuff, Call of Duty and stuff, and doing prank calls and everything like that. Other people, and he does like this. He mimics this little boy. He does like this little boy voice, like little kid, like really high pitched, squeaky voice.
Oh, I think I've heard. Yeah. Well, he probably has like
Technical
software to get that voice, right?
Sorry? Yeah, it's got like this voice modifier.
Yeah. Does he do like Jigglypuff and crap?
I'm not sure exactly what he does. Like he goes on chat roulette and pisses everyone off. He goes on
Okay,
Omegle.
no, that's not.
He plays other games. He calls like prostitutes and prank calls them.
Okay, yeah. I know the video game part. I'm not sure about the.
Oh, the guy's hilarious, man. It's hilarious.
It's funny stuff.
But if you're under 18, don't watch it.
Don't watch it. Wait till 18.
Hey guys, I'm gonna be a pain. I might have to just drop out of this call. But if you do a stream again, can you invite me? Because I'll make sure to set things up so I can get involved.
All right. Well, if you gotta go, you gotta go. Yeah, for sure we'll invite you again.
So I'm gonna keep watching it. Yeah, sorry guys. I'm gonna keep watching. I have been getting phone calls from my wife, so I should go.
Yes. You gotta use the bathroom too.
All right, man. All right.
See you later, guys. Thank you so much for having me on. I'll see you around. Yeah.
Yeah.
See you soon.
Invite me next time. Yeah.
Oh, that is the bad diarrhea.
Sorry guys. I'll see you around next time.
Hey.
All right. Take care. It was nice having you on.
Thanks, Steve.
Okay.
And then
Okay.
Was that 4?
RJ242 Music 2424. Anyway, says I'm 14. Sorry. I use Sketchbook Pro 7 and a Cintiq 13 HD. How do I get started in selling my... A lot of talk about selling stuff today. I know I'm really young, but I've been drawing close to 5 hours a day, and I'm homeschooled.
Brilliant.
Ooh, that sounds great. That's great conditions for
He's on
artists.
the correct road.
Yeah. Tell him, Paris. You tell him.
Yeah, honestly, I'm really for people spending as many hours as possible practicing. But by the way, sorry about my squeaky chair. Can you hear it?
Nope, can't hear it. Just keep going. We're good.
Anyway,
I got
I remember when I used to come home from school, I would sit down in front of the TV and watch all those cartoons and stuff after school. The children's cartoons, the shows and stuff. And man, I would just sit there and just draw every single character that was like playing in front of me, and I would finish literally before I go to bed. That was my life until I became like 16 years old, and then started taking lessons like from schools and stuff, like little seminars and art foundations and stuff like that. You can go and pay and do stuff, and then you've got your university if you're going to go and follow anything to do with cartooning or drawing or anything top arts related. So the key is spend as many hours as possible. Even if you're like really busy, even any time you find is better than nothing. So keep practicing. That's all I gotta say.
Yeah, you're on the right track. Amira Busairi, who is a cool person, says, is my friend girl. Has any one of you worked full-time in a studio before? What are the advantages working freelance versus full-time in a studio? I have not.
I've worked in
You
a
can?
studio.
Okay.
Well, when you're working freelance, if you're popular, let's say for example, I don't know, you get established on YouTube, and then people know who you are, and they start requesting you for commissions and stuff like that, or DeviantArt and stuff like that. Facebook, you've got a fan page. Basically, your name becomes popular and stuff, and people start calling you up. It's much better to have that full time than work in a studio with a bunch of egos, because seriously, there are so many egos around you. It's unbelievable, and everyone's like, it's crazy. It's crazy. I haven't seen a studio yet where it was like total like fun and everyone's happy and loony and stuff. There's many egos, and one little mistake, 'cause every minute is a lot of money for the studio, so all the guys above you are going to start pounding on you and stuff. It's stressing. It's fun and stressing at the same time, because that's my opinion, my personal opinion. I know guys who had the time of their life, but they weren't into being independent and doing something by themselves, so they prefer getting a full-time salary, and that's it. But if you're popular, I would take on freelancing any day of the week.
Yes.
For sure.
Yeah.
You're your own boss.
I hear like things from studios, and because I have friends in studios, and when they tell me the stories of studio life, I just get pretty depressed thinking about it, because it just feels like no freedom. There's a lot of politics involved. There's
There is, especially the big ones.
Yeah.
Small studios are cute, sweet, and simple, and they're fun. They're like a little family. Like if you've got like a little studio of like 10, 15 people only in different departments, for example, and versus a huge mega studio. I'm not going to name any names, but the major ones that have like hundreds of people inside, and you can't compete. I prefer a little small studio that does little commercials and stuff, local commercials, than doing like a feature movie for the Hollywood cinema. As cool as it sounds, it's not worth the stress. It's just cool for the resume. That's it. Yeah.
Okay. Pink Pony, I guess, asks, do any of you recommend any exercise to do every day to get more comfortable with drawing? Oh, I know one. Draw. Like, it's really simpler than you're making it sound. Just draw.
Again, like if you're driven by your passion, man, it's effortless. Like I wasn't really worried about, like, you know what I mean? It's like I was just doing what I liked. It was just everything that I did was because of what I liked, and it wasn't until the outside influence that I started caring. Like, and I think that's what happens with kids.
Actually, what do you call it? Be more specific. Like, what does he want to, or she want to concentrate on?
Yeah.
That's a good point. What do you want to do? In the meanwhile, Anton Muragam asks, in which point in my skill obtaining I can start strongly stylized and improving my own style?
What? Say that again?
Basically, at what point should you start putting style into things and not focusing on, just like technique and fundamental stuff?
Sycra, I think you're good for that.
I changed my opinion on this, because at first my whole thing was you learn the rules and then you break them, which I guess I think that's good to do that, but I started doing things where I would only do my style, and even when I did anatomy studies, I wouldn't draw the anatomy like I'm copying it. I would do it in my style, but reference to the reference. So redundant. But anyway, it made it so no matter what I did, it was automatically in my style. If I drew a flower pot, it's like, yeah, pay attention to proportion, pay attention, and I didn't draw flower pots, because who am I kidding? I drew girls. But pay attention to the proportions and stuff. But then do it in your style, and it becomes this thing of, I realize that whatever you do, you get good at, no matter what. If you study from photos, you will get good at studying from photos. If you draw in your own style, you will get good at drawing in your own style. If you draw from imagination, you will get good at drawing from imagination. Doesn't mean it's easy. It just means whatever you do, you get good at. So then I realized, well, while doing the studies, if I do it in my own style, I will get good at whatever the study is, and I will get good at my style. And it turns off this thing that is a copy mode, where sometimes you get into this mode of looking at the thing and just mindlessly copying. When you have to translate it, you really have to think about it. Like, what am I doing? What am I drawing? And you simplify, and I think it's a much better way of going about it.
I totally agree, and a lot of practice as well. I mean, I'm sure you guys can answer the same thing here as well. Have you guys ever like created something you're so proud of, and then a year later goes by and you look back and you think, what a lot of crap?
A year, it's a day. It's every, like, the next day, I think.
You know, so that comes down because, you know, you practice all the time. You just get, your knowledge just grows and it gets better and stuff. And that's the reason. I think that's what Sycra is trying to say. Just practice. I think dedication is above all. You got to be dedicated. Don't just be excited for like one period of time, then quit. And
yeah.
You know.
Because I think this stuff takes longer than anyone plans for, and it's the same with when I get questions from. Sometimes I'll get YouTubers asking me to, promote them or do something like this, and I'll look at their channel, and they might have 3 videos, and maybe they were uploaded like months apart. And for people who want me to promote them, I don't. So it's not a good question for me because I'm probably not going to. But I would encourage people to put in time, and that this does take more time than you would like. It doesn't mean it's impossible. And I think these two things come into play often, where I will tell people you can do it, you can make it, and this is possible, because they will be telling me things like, I don't think it's possible. It's like, this is possible. But then on the flip side, it doesn't mean it's possible without tons and tons and tons of work. So, or mileage. It's possible, doesn't mean it's easy.
Yes. That's really good.
Yeah. OzJ asks, don't you think, and then in quotation, shitty art also has its chance? Stuff like The Simpsons wasn't brilliant, South Park, or even comic manga things, some mangas don't have the best art either.
Yes, and another 10 yeses.
Yeah, I agree.
Is he talking about animation, or is he talking about just illustration? Actually, even both.
I think he's talking about... He's talking about both, yeah. There's a guy, Don Hertzfeld, and he does animation, and it's just stick figures. It's like the most basic stick figures you could imagine. The thing is that it's all in the idea. It's not about what it is. And if the idea matches to what is necessary for that idea, it'll work. So... with South Park, they're crude. The ideas are like joking around. Although, no, they actually have some deeper philosophy in there as well, if you look for it. But it's okay to do that.
I think that's what sells it, too. It's the content,
Yeah.
Like you were in a video game the other day, gameplay comes first. In art, it's like your story comes first.
Yeah, the ideas and what you have to say.
I mean, have you guys ever heard of the Mr. Men? Do you have that
I
in the
used
USA?
to. I don't know, but I'm from England, so I know I had it when I was growing up.
Oh, cool. I didn't know that. Well,
Yeah.
if you take Mr. Men, I mean, what are they? Just a bunch of basic shapes, squares, circles, hexagons, some squirrely things, but they're like the #1 best-selling storybooks for children in the UK. So something so simple can work. You've got like a good idea behind it. It's very educating, and it's really cool. I enjoyed it. I really enjoyed that. And South Park, I mean, come on. It might be really bad, like, design-wise, there's simple little things wobbling around the screen and everything, but it's so funny. It's so hilarious. I remember when that first was launched, I was like, in stitches on the floor. It's like the first cartoon I've seen that cursed on TV. And I was like, wow, did they actually do that? And yeah, but I think anything with a good storyline behind can work.
Yeah.
I think
you guys heard of Simon's Cat on YouTube? Simon's Cat?
Simon's Cat, yeah.
Black and white animated shows.
Shorts.
That's brilliant. I just adore those shows. little short little clips and stuff, and I think it's excellent. Very clever. Very clever.
Yeah, I think there are things that get lost in the whole gaining technique thing, and they tend to be the most important thing. So, in my opinion, the most important thing is your idea. That wins over everything. If you have a good idea, it's gonna be good. And then the second most important thing is appeal. Like, there are people that have horrible anatomy. I don't want to call him out on it because maybe he can do good anatomy, but there's a Korean artist, Hyung Tae Kim, who I really like his work. But his figures are broken. They're like really off, but it's appealing. And when I was growing up, I used to read Spawn by Todd McFarlane, and his stuff doesn't necessarily make a lot of sense either, but it's appealing. It's really a solid character design. And if you are following Disney, God, was it Frank Thomas, I think, who prior to him, the characters looked a certain way, and after him, he added appeal, and then Glenn Keane took it to the next level and just pushed appeal. And it's something that it's hard to explain, like, what is appeal. There are ways to get more appealing images, straights against curves, good gesture, using simplified shapes and things to get this appeal, but it is something that is really important, and it wins over correct perspective, correct anatomy, correct proportions, all these other things that are so key and fundamental. Take a back seat to appeal, and appeal takes a back seat to ideas and story and coolness. Like not coolness, because it could be funny. It can be a whole lot of other things, but yeah.
Because kids, at the end of the day, they don't understand that crap, and that's why we fell in love with it when we were kids. We don't really know all the technical stuff, but we know what we like as kids.
Did you ever fall down that path of getting obsessed with technique and
for me?
Yeah.
I don't think so.
Did your parents?
I did it for school, but I wasn't so like, oh my god, it has to be exactly right. There are moments in my mind where I'm like, like this doesn't look like correct technically, but I've never been like obsessed with that idea.
I had a confusion at one point in my life when I was in love with so many different styles, and I was like, which one should I follow? I like them all.
Yeah.
And you end up not following any of them in the end, because you end up learning something from each one of these different styles and techniques, and you gel them together, and then boom, suddenly one day you wake up with your own little style going on. And so that's when I realized you just got to learn from all the people that you're obsessed in. And so learn from Sycra, guys, and the Teddy Show.
I think all of us are.
Don't learn from me.
Dude, I just gotta say, if anyone is curious about opposite C's and straight against curve, Toonbox Studio has, in my opinion, the best video on it. Like, hands down. There's this amazing video Paris made about. Yeah! Straight against curves on Toonbox Studio. You made it. Did you forget already?
It's on your channel, man.
Yeah.
It's on your channel. And the channel links for everybody who's here are in the description. So if anyone's wondering, like, oh, who's Toonbox Studio? Who's Paris? I thought Paris was a city. Well, now you know.
You answer that one. Is
Okay.
there any French people online?
Are there French people here?
You should ask a French person how they pronounce the city, the capital of France. Not one of them will say to you Paris.
Paris. Guard 0000 asks, do you guys have any experience with transitioning from a normal life, and normal life is in quotations, with full-time work or school to hardcore studies or freelance? Money is the issue, I guess. I kind of feel stuck.
Where are you reading these comments, man? I'm trying to find them. I still can't see them.
Really? I'll give you a link again. You
I've
can
got like a
answer this.
newbie version of this Google Hangout stuff.
I think you can answer that question.
What's
So,
that? Is that an address?
you know.
Yep, I pasted a link to it. Do you see it?
Oh wait, on your channel. Uh-huh. Cool.
He found it. He found it.
This,
But you're gonna have to mute the.
Yeah, you're watching it.
There you go.
oh, there they are. Now I see them. Okay.
Yeah. So, I think money and time are definitely factors, and something you could do is save up and do the job that's kind of crappy and try and draw as much as you can while saving up, and then going hardcore into it. I find it weird how you can take student loans, and people are very open to doing that, and then, but when I was thinking about how much I spent on animation school, and how much I could have got had I just taken a year off, taken that money, used it for rent, and then I could have bought myself like a really fancy computer and a lot of good equipment for the same price. So, but I don't know. I don't know if I would have taken advantage of it, because it's really difficult, or at least it was for me, to be motivated when you don't have a boss. You kind of have to train yourself to be disciplined, because I can wake up and not work if I want to, and I'm not going to get in trouble for it. But it won't be good. So, discipline is the tricky bit as well.
Man, I'm just bedazzled by all these comments and stuff. I just now saw them all. My God, loads, man. It's never ending. And I actually reading all this and answering them. I mean, wow.
I can't answer all of them. I answer what I can, because there's so many. And I'm sorry if you're asking a question we don't get to it. I'm really sorry. But
will these questions be available after this video goes live on your channel?
Yeah. So if you wanna go in there and micro each answer, that's for sure.
I would love to.
Yeah.
Wow.
Anime Cloud asks, I was wondering how I can go about giving my characters or poses some kind of story or purpose. I feel like sometimes they're just there with no real purpose behind the pose. Ooh, I think this would be a good one for you to answer, Paris.
Say that one more time, so I was reading the comments here.
This person is wondering how to give story to or a purpose to the characters' poses they create.
Well, do you mean like to avoid it being like a dead static pose?
Yeah, because they said, I feel sometimes they're just there with no real purpose behind the pose.
Well, what I really hate is, I mean, I've seen so many brilliant artists out there, especially, I don't know if you guys read the magazine called Imagine Effects. I'm subscribed to that, and I get it delivered to my door every month. And you see all the best of the best worldwide, and you're gonna get loads of ideas from these people, that the way they pick these cool animated style poses. It's like each pose tells a story, sort of thing. But what I really hate is the ones where they're just like posing to the camera like this, like or they've got some sword aiming at, I don't know, they're just posing towards the audience. I just find that so boring, and it's a shame, because they're so talented. It's amazing the way they draw them and stuff, but it's just like taking a snapshot, and that's it. And I really recommend pushing the pose, giving the character a purpose, anything. Even if it's just to be a static picture, at least make them do something in that picture instead of just smiling. That's the kind of thing that I try to avoid as well. I do that a lot, actually. Sometimes I get stuck in that little bubble where I just pose my character looking at the camera, smiling, that's it. And there's a typical pin-up thing that all pin-up artists do, except for a couple people that I know. I don't know if you guys know Dean Yeagle, the famous Dean Yeagle, like with the Mandy pin-up character. That guy's a genius when it comes to posing his character. You won't see not even one, well, through his books that he's created on Mandy, every single pose is animated. It's an animated pose, just doing something. There's a gesture going on, there's movement, or there's a reason why she's staring at a specific spot in the page and stuff. So try to figure out the scenario, what you're going to try and do, whether it's a gag or whether it's an action scene or whatever. Yeah, as long as it's as an action, and make that pose animated. Actually, check out my video on straights against curves. That will help you out.
I told you, it's a good video. Fuzzy Buzzy says, Sycra, why are you not drawing? Darn you, because I am reading your comment.
Oh, we meant to be drawing?
No.
You don't have to.
Hey, Jetty, are you drawing?
Yeah.
Jet, are you not seeing
Where is
Jetty?
it? Let me
Yeah,
see.
our hangout.
Let me see.
See on the Hangout at the bottom, there's like pictures of our faces, and click the one
Yeah.
of Jet drawing, and it will be on your big screen.
Is it the blonde chick?
Yeah.
Oh, you gotta let me see the blonde chick, man. Come on, show me to me. Where are you? I don't see anything. Why am I not seeing anything?
I don't know.
I see some logo or some cool picture.
Oh, there's that guy, and there should be another dude. There should be, because I'm on two different accounts right now.
How are you doing that? Wow. Oh, okay, I see what you mean. Okay, cool.
Yeah. I'm in there because, well, I logged in with the other account first.
Can we magnify that? That's cool.
Yeah,
Are you
just
like
click-
a
just-
you
yeah,
an
just click-
anime manga artist? What's
Kinda, yeah. I've been pigeonholed there.
that is blood.
I enjoy doing it. I like the style, yeah, and it's one of the things I do. I mean,
That is gorgeous.
hey.
So there you go, guys. The Jetty Show. I subscribed to him today. I met the guy today. I didn't know, honestly, because like I said before, I don't know many artists on YouTube.
Yeah, no worries.
On
Like,
YouTube, I just follow like anything that makes me laugh, so I go for the comedy sides and stuff like
Yeah.
that.
Me too.
But every time I get introduced, like for example today, I got introduced to Jetty, and I subscribed straight away. So when we get off this call, I'm gonna sit down and watch a bunch of your videos.
oh man.
Awesome. It's gonna be awesome.
All right. Mosler says, I'm interested in maybe majoring in business and minoring in animation. Anyone have any experience with a combo like that? It's
Yep,
probably smart. Yo, you do? Cool.
Yeah.
Okay. What was that?
I studied after I finished animation. I always knew that I wanted to be independent and to not work for like other businesses. Because when I was a kid, I used to go for what do you call it? Volunteer work at animation studios and different illustration studios just to get some experience and stuff. And I knew from when I was a kid that it was something I didn't want to do for the rest of my life. I wanted to do animation, but I didn't want to work for other people unless you had a specific good position in the company. So after I finished my studies, I then went into business. I went and studied business administration. I went into internet marketing and PR and that stuff and advertising. It's good to have it behind you because that's what really helped me boost everything I do today. So go for it.
Wow. Yeah, that's really useful.
Yeah.
Dave the Wave asked, should I only focus on one figure drawing book at a time like Loomis, or is it better to study from multiple books at the same time? I'm studying both from Loomis and Vilpu. They're both good artists.
The more the better. Just don't start collecting them and not looking at them.
I think it's good though to do like, let's say you're doing Loomis. Well, you can do 20 Loomis figures of like the front view, for instance, and then it's much better at. I think I learned it from you, Jet, where you said something like that you would do 20 of the same pose, and then you've sort of memorized it.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah.
Like, I remember. Well, it was because of the test. For one of our figure drawing final was just memorizing the exact measurement for each proportion and length for the arms and bones and everything, and I had to just nail it. So I made sure I memorized everything by doing it over and over and over.
Guard 40 says, why won't you guys realize that Just In Case is our new Messiah, the new Michelangelo manga, Girl 5 is the next Muslim?
Oh no.
Is this Just In Case in a different account? Okay.
So just in case.
Okay, Josh asks, as a freelancer, you sometimes have to take unfavorable jobs. Have you ever lost your way through these jobs and had to refine the art you originally wanted to make? Ooh, unfavorable meaning furries? I don't know what unfavorable means.
I'm trying to find the question so I can read. I just saw it a minute ago and just disappeared. Where'd it go?
Yeah, they keep getting
Here it is.
updated, so yeah.
Was it Josh who wrote the
Yeah,
question?
Josh Pasco.
Favorable jobs. When he means what? We lost your way through these jobs that we didn't like, basically, yeah? Is that what he's asking?
I've heard of artists who, especially deviant art artists, who get in this thing of they get into almost softcore pornography because that's where the commissions are going, and they start out like all bright-eyed and I'm gonna do characters, and then it's like, can you draw my original character? Uh-huh. And so she has whipped cream spraying on her face, and it's like, oh, okay.
Yeah. It happens.
But yeah, I think if you get distracted through, I don't know, it comes down to back to that point I made earlier when it says how desperate you are on your economic side. You know, if you have bills to pay and stuff, you have to take a job that you don't like, or maybe you like it and just didn't want to go that direction. For example, let's say soft pornography, art, or something, and you get stuck in that little bubble. I don't think there's nothing that can prevent you from getting out of it. But you just got to be careful, I reckon, what gives you a bad name or not, you know. So if you don't mind having that title saying I'm the erotica artist, you know, of the century, then okay, go for it. But if you want to do other stuff, some people might take you the wrong way. For example, I remember one guy, he was doing some erotic pin-up art, and then he wanted to land a job in creating children's fairy tale books, and he didn't get the job because of his name. So be careful. You can go for that direction, stick with it. But yeah.
Would you, because I'm wondering, would you rather have a bad art job or just do any other kind of job and not have to take a bad art job and do art as your hobby?
Well, for example, if there's no options.
Yeah, like let's say you need the money and there's a job and it's an art job, but you don't really want to, it's not something you'd enjoy doing. Would you rather do that or just do any other, like, work at McDonald's type job to pay?
If it doesn't make me happy, and it doesn't really matter to me, but it's not like work for McDonald's, because if McDonald's doesn't make me happy, it's the same position as being someone. For example, I remember once I had problems finding jobs in animation at some point in my early 20s. And I was forced to go into web design, and I went to this graphic studio, and we were making websites and stuff like that. It was so boring, designing these little templates and stuff, and logos spinning around in Flash, which was the in thing back then. And actually, it wasn't Flash; it was before Flash. It was Macromedia. What was it called?
I used the ULEAD 3D for that.
What was the one before Flash? The one before Flash? Do you remember it? It was Macromedia, the company, before Adobe took over. Anyway.
It was Flash. Adobe bought Flash off Macromedia, I think.
Yeah, before Flash was introduced by Macromedia, what was it called? It was another software that was used to do these things. I forgot what it's called. We had to study it as well. It was so boring. Anyway, so I ended up doing like web design and making my boss rich by creating him like 5 websites per month and stuff. And he had like a team of us, like 50 of us, so you could do the math. And we're just getting like a really crappy salary and stuff. And it was boring, and I hated it. It wasn't creative enough. Like we can't compare it to animation. Animation's like full of life, and illustration's full of life. But sitting down, creating stuff with fonts and placing the text and people's photos and what they're selling and service, it was such a boring job. So yeah, I was happy to get out of it, and I would take on anything at the time.
I think bad art jobs are worse than just a regular job, because there's something about art, because it's creative, it feels like it's coming from you. Like, I hesitate to use the word soul, but it's almost like a bad art job can be soul crushing, whereas a bad job feels more like it's backbreaking labor. It's physically bad, but a bad art job can almost be emotionally bad. That's what I found anyway.
Yeah, exactly. So if you're not going to do something you really, really love, then everything else is just
Liz
like
Taylor.
vague ethos.
Yeah. Liz Taylor says, do you think it's good to get your work out there on all these platforms when you're not good yet? I don't think you're going to know when you're good necessarily. I think that's something that changes over time because for me anyway, I always think, oh, I could be way better than this. But I don't know. I think that's a decision because there's two ways of going about it. You could be the person who works and improves, and you build a following, and it gets bigger as you get better. It's almost like a snowball effect. Or you could be this come out of nowhere amazing artist, and just because no one saw where you came from, you create a pretty big splash. I've seen both methods work. The only method that doesn't work is not coming out at all. Like, if you're gonna wait, make sure you don't wait forever, because you might feel like, well, I'm never good enough.
Yeah, that's true. Well, my opinion is I've never cared what other people thought. So when my work used to be really, really crappy, I used to still plug it everywhere. I just never cared. And then just when it started getting better, I used to delete the old ones.
Yeah.
So just don't care what people think. Just get it out of your mind. Just do what you love and don't care
Yeah,
what
you're always
other
gonna be
people
a
think.
beginner to somebody. Like even if you're amazing, you're
Mm.
still a beginner. It's what you think of yourself that counts.
Yeah.
Okay, there's a question. How do you advertise your art to get clients, or how to get clients? I've never advertised anything. They just send me emails. They're like, I saw your work on whatever. Maybe it's DeviantArt, maybe it's my website, maybe it's YouTube, and they're interested. I've never looked for.
Well, that's the thing about DeviantArt. That's your advertising. And YouTube, that's super advertising. But you're not doing it to advertise. That's just how it happened. Right.
Yeah. Guard 40s. I don't know. It might be. We don't know who, just in case. The Edward says, how do I capture grace? Like, let's say I want to draw someone playing the violin, but my drawings always look not exactly stiff, but I can't really describe it. You want to take that, Paris?
Grace.
Grace. Let's
It
define the
comes
word
down
grace.
back to the line of action, I guess,
Yeah.
and the gestures you choose to use, the rhythm going through the body and the arms, and I guess that. I like to observe ballet dancers because they're like the most graceful people on this planet. So I like to see their movement on everything they do, and try to somehow copy it in a way.
Yeah.
So it all comes down to the line of action. The line of action.
Yep. I agree. And this is the one thing I feel animators have in spades, and it's severely lacking in every other discipline of art. You will see the stiffest illustrations that are rendered like crazy. Like, it's good painting. But it's just missing that. And so that is why I actually went to animation school, because I was drawing my figures. I would do figure drawing maybe 3 times a week. And it was like, okay, I'm drawing what I see and everything. And then I would see these animators, and it felt like I didn't know how to draw. And it felt like these are the only people who seem to know how to draw. And what is it that they have? And that was it. It's the line of action. It's the gesture. And it takes work to get it, but if you're interested in bringing life to your work, even if you don't want to animate, because I didn't care for animation in the end. It wasn't fun for me. It was a lot of work, and it's really rewarding, but it was just not my cup of tea. But I would learn what animators know in terms of that, and there's some really good books for that. There's a book called The Illusion of Life, I think it's called.
Yeah, classic.
Which is
Classic.
yeah, it's a great book.
I recommend 2 books. What's it called? Draw to Life. Was it Draw to Life?
Drawn to Life.
Drawn to Life. Yeah. Volumes 1 and 2. Fantastic. I've got them somewhere here.
Yeah.
I've got them somewhere here. Those are great books.
Great books. Okay. Let's
How
see.
long has this been going for? I'm just wondering.
Oh, I think we're gonna stop in 14 minutes, because
Were we meant to draw something, like to demonstrate something or anything, or?
No.
do you feel guilty?
I feel bad, man. It's like I don't want to let any people down.
No. It's really nice to just see your face. You know, like because it's your first time and all that stuff. If you want to draw, that's up to you. Like,
Yeah, if you want to draw, there's a screen share button, and that will share whatever you're looking at on your screen, and then
Oh, really?
you can draw. Yeah. It's. Do you see it?
Oh yeah, I see it. Yeah. Okay, cool. Well, the next time you even do invite me again, I'll kick up a drawing for you guys.
All right, cool.
yeah, it gives people something to look at instead of just our faces, because our faces might get boring.
Yeah.
Except
so-
Sycra's face, of course, it works.
I dare you to call Jazz's Skype right now and see if you hear that rumbling sound again.
Okay. Occult Sun says, "Do you think you can reach mastery or at least a professional level without ever taking a class? I feel like there is all out there in the World Wide Web, and the rest is work ethic." I agree. You can do that, but it's just being motivated. I think when people talk about art and professional artists, they always talk about talent, and I feel like talent isn't the rare thing, because there are people who aren't that talented who become very good. I think the rare thing is really discipline and motivation and sticking to it. That is what I never see. And I see plenty of people with dreams, and it's like, well, what are you doing to pursue those dreams? And then they won't say much. There's so many stories where it's like, I used to be really good at this, and then I quit because of this, and yeah, I'm thinking about doing my dreams, and I'm like, following my dreams. I'm like, okay, cool, yeah, you can do that, and then I'll talk to them maybe a month later, and like, so whatever happened about that? Did you make an effort? Oh yeah, I was gonna, but then this came up and that came up. It's like, you're not serious. I feel like for a serious person. And also there's things where I'll sometimes hear stories of like, I wanted to do art and then my teacher told me not to and then I quit. And I feel sorry for you if you're in that situation, but there's this stubbornness that comes with people who succeed, and it's like, you cannot stop me. Like, it doesn't matter whether I'm going to school, not going to school, someone tells me to do this, someone tells me not to do it, I'm gonna do it because it's within me. This is what I need to get out, and I feel if you do approach it from that way of like, I'm doing what I want no matter what, nothing's gonna stop me, then you're probably gonna succeed.
Yes, words of power.
Words of wisdom. My young sparrow has learned a thing or two.
I watched your videos.
Figure drawing.
Jacob.
Figure drawing is a huge thing. Life drawing. Go for it.
Mm-hmm.
I wish I could take more of that.
And also, don't expect to be doing everything all at once. So you might hear stories of someone who draws 12 hours a day. That doesn't have to be you if you haven't drawn. Start small and incrementally increase.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, if you were gonna start weightlifting, you wouldn't start with like doing dumbbell curls with 100-pound weights or something.
I would. That'll impress all the chicks. I'm like,
it's like, look at
well,
my.
it's the preparation that
bone.
gets everybody
Look at my
pumped up. He's like, oh man, he's gonna do it.
There's a comment here that's by someone. Hold on, just missed it. Went up. Let me go find it. Where are you? Till I. Did I pronounce that? Till I. And it says, don't take negative advice seriously. That's something I'm so for. Thank you for saying that, actually. That's brilliant advice. It's the best advice someone can give you. A lot of people take things to heart and give up like the day after. And you're going to get a lot of criticism, and you got to be strong. You got to be like, I love criticism because that's the only way I learn. So
Yes.
when someone tells me, don't do that, okay, I won't do it, all right? So yeah, don't take negative advice seriously. So, great comment there. Well done.
I mean, look for the constructive criticism, not the destructive criticism. because some
avoid the
people,
trolls.
yeah, some people, if they see you as something, they will tear you down. And I noticed that I didn't get that many negative comments until I started doing a bit better. And it was like, oh, that's part of it. And it kind of sucks to know this, but I know as I become more successful, I'm going to get hated on more. And it might just be exposure. Like, let's say there's 1 out of 100 people is a troll. If you only have an audience of 90 people, you might be avoiding that troll, but, you know, you get to your 100, here's your first troll. Yeah, so.
Yeah.
The mystery, the YouTube mystery.
We'll get you first from if you look at like YouTube videos in general, if you watch like a puppy video, like there's gonna be dislikes on the video. If there's 100 likes, there's at least 4 dislikes. It's bound to
You know
happen.
that my whole life I've only given 1 dislike to a video.
Really?
1 dislike, yeah. I would never really go and, even if I didn't like a video, I wouldn't give a dislike. I wouldn't even put any energy to go and press a button. If I didn't like it, I'd just turn it off.
Yeah.
But there was one video where I saw it was like really brutal. Like it was this like dog ripping apart a pig and a bunch of dogs actually. And I thought, oh god, that was mean, and it was on purpose. It was for sports. And I thought, dislike, comment, turn it off, take this off, and report it. Or racism. I don't like seeing racism a lot. Like intentional racism.
I'm all freaking against
stuff. So, but I wouldn't ever go to some video that I thought was like lame or something, or wasn't good enough or something. And just like go dislike, leave a comment, all that effort that they do and stuff. I just never understood why they have that.
That's like a projection of their own personal demons and ego. It's like,
yeah,
like you're just showing yourself. It's like, really, you're hating a baby?
That's true. Yeah.
I feel a lot of these people have severe problems, like psychopathy or something.
Well, it's a mystery.
King N says, "What best in life?" I'll tell you what's best in life. What best in life? In my opinion, what best in life is knowing who you are, knowing what you want, knowing what you like, and then pursuing that. So I think so many people get caught up in the grass is greener on the other side, at looking at people around them and saying like, well, they have this, so I need this. And really, do you? Like, who are you and what do you really like? Once you find that out, it's almost like finding a cheat code out. Because you learn you don't need certain things. You might think you need something, even if it's not just like the nice car, the nice house. It could be something where it's like a relationship, and you're thinking like, well, people would respect me if I had this or that. And what do you really like? What do you really care about? I think finding that out is the best in life. Guard asks, do you think someone living in a high-cost country can compete when it comes to freelance?
You know what?
A high-cost country. High livings, I guess.
Well, like an expensive.
Cost of living is expensive, yeah. I think you can in one specific case. I don't know how well this works for everything, but I know in some cases, if you are good at speaking English and you're from an English-speaking country, you tend to have an advantage because it's easier to communicate sometimes than a country that always deals with outsourcing, because one of the things they have to deal with is the language barrier.
Mm-hmm.
So it's something that we still have. It's the cultural understanding.
Lifestyle in London really expensive. Really expensive. And so same thing in Paris as well. If you go to France, these two countries are like, for me, the probably most expensive countries in the world, lifestyle terms. Yeah.
Oh, Singapore is super expensive as well.
Where?
Singapore.
Really?
I mean, they have a markup on cars, so like a $40,000 car in North America costs the equivalent of like $80,000 there. It's just like everything is extremely expensive.
Yeah, they're really.
Because Vancouver's expensive too, and then I learned like, oh, okay, never mind. There's worse places. A question from Loic Dennis says, "Can a foreign guy, me, work in an American art industry?" Of course. Yeah. The internet has broken down these barriers now. I don't think, like, no one asks me where are you from, really. They might in terms of knowing the time zone, but there's plenty of people who are not American who are working in an American company, or who are not Japanese who are working for a Japanese company or whatever.
Yeah.
What time is it over there?
It's 3:56 p.m.
Where are you? Are you in California?
No, Jed's in California. I'm in Vancouver.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay, so we got about 4 minutes left, so we're going to answer a couple more questions, and then we're going to call it a day. So let's see. Do you see any questions that are catching your eye, Paris, that you really want to tackle? I'll answer one while you're looking for one. Ami Konyan says, "I just realized what I want, who I am, what art is and does for me, but I'm 21. Is it too late to get back on track? I had experience for several years, but dropped art for about 2 years." I was 23 when I started studying with my first teacher, and I was 28 when I started getting work, I think, and I was 23 when I started YouTube as well. It was 2006. So I almost feel like when someone says, "Can I succeed in art?" I almost want to say no and just see what happens. Because if you're the type of person that would succeed, that wouldn't stop you. There's nothing I could say that would stop you. There's nothing a teacher could say that would stop you. You're the only one who can stop you. And I noticed when I started my new style in the beginning, there's a lot of people who like, yeah, it's ugly and the sharp chins and the points and things. Not a lot, because I wouldn't say there's a lot. There's some people, and it's a thing of like, whatever, say whatever you want. It's gonna be good, and it's getting to the point that I think it's pretty good. So
that's right. That's right.
Stubbornness. Be stubborn.
Will Terrell in the house. Hey,
Whoa!
buddy. How come he's on the pool, man?
Because he never went on Google+.
Oh, yeah.
Or he would be.
Hold on right now.
My username and password, man. It's John. Is it a good idea to learn how to do paintings? I think it's good to learn to try out everything. Like if you go to I remember when we went to college, we had to take a foundation course before we did anything else. I don't know if it's the same in the USA, but we have to do this one foundation art and design course for a whole year. And you actually do everything. You get a taste of everything, from playing with clay and different types of mediums and painting. And then after that, you just find out what you really like and which one's good for you and just focus on it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So Alec Meow and Zentai, you are noticed. Alex saying, "Damn, that Jetty drawing is looking good." I agree. That Jetty drawing is looking good. And someone asked, they're torn between love for traditional and urge to go digital. How would you get a balance? I feel I'll get lost and lose my traditional. How do you keep them both? Do them both. I do both all the time. Every day I do my traditional work and I do digital work. It's the same thing. Like the hand skills and the eye skills, I mean, it's a little difficult when you're using a tablet at first, but I mean, in general, art is the same thing. And it shouldn't be a huge problem for you to do both, I think. Okay.
No, I'm trying to read a comment and then it suddenly just disappears, like new comments come.
Just to be clear, I am using a photo reference from a K-pop girl. From
Dude,
AOA.
let me see the picture, man.
Alright.
I'm squinting here.
Oh, you can't see? Like,
I've seen this little thumbnail right in the bottom here, but I'm like really coming.
Click
really
it.
you have to click it.
Click the thumbnail. Yeah, click it.
Oh,
Oh
shoot.
wow, cool.
We've been saying that this whole time, buddy.
When it comes to Google Hangouts, I'm a noob. My first time by myself. Cool. I don't use Google Hangouts.
You could say you lost your cherry here.
Yeah, that is. That is true. Love it.
Sycra's all about them funds.
Also, just click on any one I want. Ah, cool.
Yeah, man. Here, I'll show you the reference real quick. Just really quick. You're gonna have to go to my other account. It's on there.
Dude, this is quite cool.
Thanks, buddy. Okay, this is. You gotta look at the other.
Cool.
The other
Seeing everything
so
he's doing.
the face is gonna transform into another. So this is what I'm looking at. The angle of head's changed. Everything's pretty much changed. And again, like what we were talking about, interpretation and stuff. I'm not copying the photo. Yeah, tell them about it, Sycra.
Yeah, that's what I was talking about. With you are looking at reference, but you're not necessarily copying it. You're referencing it a very slight way.
She is cute. Ooga mooga licious. Love the eyes. Beautiful. Love it.
I changed the eyes. I'm not happy with my eyes. Like she's got more seductive eyes in the picture. If you look at the original.
Yeah, yours is looking a bit tired.
Let's fix that.
It's mighty fine to me. What software is this anyway? I can't even see the title anywhere. Where is it?
It's Manga Studio.
Is it Manga Studio? Oh, there it is. Manga Studio. I've never used this one before.
It's pretty good.
It's a nice program. I think it's nice. It's got similar to Sketchbook Pro in terms of the nice lines you can make.
Yeah.
Because Sketchbook has really nice lines. I enjoy using that. I don't know how you do it, but whenever I record with Sketchbook Pro, I end up invariably losing tablet or Cintiq. The drivers just stop working. So
Wait,
I don't know.
crash it?
Yeah, it just stops working while I'm drawing, and then I can only use my mouse unless I shut down the program, restart my drivers, and reopen the program, and so I never use it for videos.
I don't have a clue.
I used it once, I think, but I don't know. But anyway,
technical stuff. I don't have a clue about things like that. So
yeah. All right, so that's gonna be it for today. I want to thank my missing guest Jazza, who hopefully has a new air conditioner, and then
He's watching.
I want to thank Jet from the Jetty Jet Show.
Thank you, Sycra.
And Paris from Toonbox Studio. And again, the links to these guys.
What?
That's French for
my
something.
bad version of Donald Duck.
and yeah, the links to their channels are in the description. And I want to thank you, viewers, for watching and taking time out of your day to spend with us. And I'll see you guys next time.
Peace out.
Take care, guys.